Okay, I think I finally figured this whole live producer thing out. It still hasn't fixed the bugs where I can't see who's on or who is watching, but I think I figured it out. So let me know if I am still broadcasting right now over at the Quarantine Network, because earlier this morning it looks like I was broadcasting on my personal page. I think I figured it out. So hello, everybody. I decided to come to you live outside this morning since it's finally a beautiful day and not freezing out. Although I'm still wearing bottoms, I'm still wearing leggings. But yeah, so finally Las Vegas is, it's hazy, but it's sunny and it's nice. And typically this is like not summertime, but it's springtime. It's pool season in Vegas. So it's been a little frustrating. Anywho, welcome to your midday mindset shift. So before I do these, again, apologies that I wasn't able to be here for you yesterday. I had some doctor's appointments I had to get to. But I want to thank you for being here now. And because this is the new Facebook Live producer, it does not let me see who is on or watching or anything like that. So unless my laptop browser notifies me, or you guys type in on the comments over here, unless you do that, I can't see that. So that I can best answer your questions and be available and best of service to you, please type in the comments, say hello, tell me where you're coming from, and all that good stuff. So before I do these midday mindset shifts, my morning rise and shine, I kind of already have it planned out, at least the night before, because I'm basically walking you through my 12-week program, my 90-day program that I do with my clients, which is available for purchase. If you're interested, send me a message. Or you can go to wildblossombeacon.com and you can check out the site. So those are kind of not really scripted, but I have a format of where I'm going. With these, what I love about these shorter versions, these 25-minute sessions with me, is that everything I do when I'm speaking, I go off the cuff. But with this, I meditate ahead of time, and I ask that I can needed for you guys to hear right now. And I took the dogs for a walk. We went to the park and I did my yoga, meditated, and I meditated on the ground. And I highly recommend this if you are in the middle of your day, things are chaotic, and you just need to get some leverage. Previous episodes, I talk about breathing techniques and stuff. Holy grounding. So when I read my medicine cards this morning, it was swan upside down. And the message there is that I need to reground myself. And I took the suggestion literally. And when I went to the park, I took off my shoes. I felt the grass. And in Vegas, there's not a whole lot of grass out here, and most of it is artificial. And even the grass out here is still artificial. It's just like crabgrass or Bermuda grass. It doesn't feel like back home in the Northeast. But I allowed myself to just feel it. And when was the last time, if you live in a city, when was the last time you actually walked barefoot in the grass? Especially as an adult and living in a city where grass is scarce, you're probably not inclined to take off your shoes, because the only places that grass exists have probably been peed and pooped on all over by dogs, right? Hey, Christina. Hey, Bo. So I just look at the patch of grass in front of my apartment and I'm just like, nope, never walking barefoot on that. So I really highly encourage you to find some grass. And for those of you where it's still snowing, maybe even try walking down the snow. I did it. I'm from New York. I would take some adventurous things. If I was the way I am now when I was in New York, totally. If I needed to go ground myself, it would be freezing, but I would go outside. I'd bundle everything up and go barefoot and just stand in the snow for a little while until it was too freaking cold for me. Because it's really literally and figuratively, it's grounding you. It's connecting you back to nature. It's connecting you back to where you come from, and it's settling the nerves. And especially if you are standing in snow, that is definitely going to jolt your body. And if you need a little dose of extra energy or invigoration, that'll do it. But this whole concept of grounding, you don't have to do it for a super long time, but your feet, especially when you are living in cities and whatnot, I mean, that's why those foot massage places in cities are big cash cows, because people don't take care of their feet very often, or when they go and get pedicures. I mean, that's great, but that's about the extent of the love that our feet get. Hey, Sean. So to actually go and ground and feel things with your feet, we get so caught up in daily life that, we grab things and we feel, but we don't feel them, right? Let alone with our feet. And we have so many nerve receptors in the bottoms of our feet and the tops of our feet and in between our toes and everything that, side note, those can be erogenous zones. So if you've heard of that, maybe this will ring a bell. But in a non-sexual way, just feeling what the grass feels like, feeling what sand feels like, feeling what the ocean feels like, feeling what the concrete, if it's all you've got, work with it. Hey, Derek. But really, if you can just close your eyes for a moment and be still and concentrate on the way that feels, you really almost instantly get grounded, get connected, because you're connected to the earth, but you're actually recentering yourself physically, energetically, emotionally, and you don't even have to try to push the thoughts out of your head. You're literally just enjoying the way it feels. So I went and did that, and I did an extra little meditation as well. One of the new ones that I've recently adopted, and I love it. And I asked for guidance on what to talk about today. So I guess that's half of it. And what came up for me very clearly, which is hilarious because I picked this outfit to wear beforehand, was innocence. And I even contemplated when I was showering, like, should I really put this shirt on? I'm going to talk about innocence. I think it's funny, and maybe this will help you remember what I'm about to say. So I got the message. I said, okay, I'm going to talk about innocence. What am I going to say about innocence? And then I realized this is your midday mindset. Let's talk about, it's mostly about recentering yourself, energizing yourself, right? Think back to when you were in your most innocent. And okay, for those of you, I'm already hearing it. I was a mean child. I was an angry child. Mom said I was a brat. Da, da, da. Think about when you were in your joyous moments. Assuming none of you were any young little Jeffrey Dahmers torturing kitty cats and killing little small animals, assuming that wasn't your zone of genius back then, think about the things, the activities you did when you were limitless, before somebody told you you weren't able to do that, before somebody told you you weren't good enough or you needed to work harder at something. What were the things little you loved to do? Think about those things. And actually, close your eyes and try to feel into what that was like. Just pure and utter freedom. If you've ever heard a little baby's laugh or a toddler or even a little kid, the screeches I can live without. But just we don't sound like that as adults. Granted, our voices mature and get deeper, most of us, but we still don't harness that same pure joy, that pure giggle laughter. And I was actually thinking about this before I meditated. When was the last time I was just in rapturous, joyous laughter? And quite frankly, it was probably one of the last gatherings I had with my friends here at my place, because it's when you're in that place where your guard can just come down. You don't have to be anyone. You don't have to conform. You don't have to fit in. And we've lived our lives to a point where that's how we're able to live our lives. And for many of us, we don't even know who we really are. We are this thing, this persona of ourselves we built for ourselves. And if you caught my morning session, we started to do some really deep work on your inner beliefs. And basically, this is kind of tying together, which my midday mindset shifts don't usually necessarily tie in with my Rise and Shine program. But today it kind of does. Thinking about who you were before you became who you are. Now, you may be saying, I am so much better now than I ever was then. Amen. But what about who you were before that? Before the bad got in, when you were just young and purely innocent and full of life and full of possibility, and everything was a curiosity. Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why is the ocean blue? What does the dog say? What does the cow say? What does the fox say? I need to laugh, man. I haven't thought of that in a while. I don't ever need to hear that again. No one needs to send me that. Although there was a death metal band that did a cover of that, and that actually was good. Anywho, so sorry about the dogs barking. I live in a very dog-friendly community, so if you can hear them in the background, and then there's mine. But going back, imagining how you were in those moments, and really, really embody this. What were you doing? What were the activities? What were the thoughts? I mean, for me, some of my greatest joys were sitting alone in my room at my window. I always loved window seats. Reading a book, getting lost in fantasy. I always loved dancing. If I wasn't doing my dance recitals or practicing a dance routine, you bet I forced my grandmother to sit down in the living room. And half the time I didn't even force her. I mean, I never forced her. Half the time she would tell me, hey, go dance for me. And the living room was my stage. Hey, Darwin, thanks for joining me. And I would just make up things as I went along. I would have no dance routine. I would just do things and I would move my body. And that brought me such joy. And I'm talking about not like, okay, I loved playing soccer. That brought me such joy. But that came in when I started playing soccer when I was 7. And by that time, I already kind of figured out who I was, or at least who I shouldn't be, would be the more correct term, who I should not be, which essentially was most of who I was. And so that's when I started learning, and so I loved playing soccer. It was just fun. And I couldn't really necessarily put my finger on what I loved so much about playing soccer until I got older, started doing the deeper work, and I realized, that was my outlet for aggression. That's why I loved it. So I'm not talking about things you loved to do when you were in your preteens, your teens. I'm talking younger. 6 years old and younger. Take yourself back to that space. Those are the things. Playing with blocks. My mom would take me for bike rides, and I was barely old enough to remember, but she would just pick me up and put me in the little saddle seat behind her in the bicycle, and we'd take rides around like that. We would drive around the car, and my little legs, because I was that little, would be like just kicking up and down to the beat of the music, singing along, having a blast. Like those were the things that just brought me pure joy that I could do all day long for hours and hours and hours. Think about what those were for you. And if you need to close your eyes and envision it, don't be embarrassed if you start envisioning it and you just get this goofy ass smile on your face. And you might even come up with a purely joyous giggle. Don't be embarrassed. That is what we need, what we've kind of lost, that whole Peter Pan syndrome, right? Where we're the lost boys, we're the lost children where we're Peter Pan. We grew up, and it's hearkening our inner lost boy or girl and telling them, go ahead, come out and play. Because you need adult you to get through life, but you need young you to remember who you are, keep your vitality, keep the joy, and stay in alignment. And when you can harness what it was that brought you the purest joy, hey, Natter, when you can harness what brought you the purest joy, especially for parents, and especially for those of you who may not want to admit it, but are in the middle of a quarter life or midlife crisis. And you're just like, I don't even recognize myself anymore. What am I even doing? What am I doing with my life? What is life? Like, you especially have to do this exercise. I encourage you so much to do this. I invite you to do this, because if you are not where you desire to be in life and you're unhappy relationship, unhappy job, unhappy living situation, unhappy fill in the blank, hello, we've been gifted with an extra 2 weeks now. So a whole month ahead of us, at least here in Vegas. Well, no, that was federally, that was Trump. To sort it out. We've been gifted with the time to go back and reevaluate and not just apply for different jobs, but really take this time, make the most of it. People ask me, what are you doing for fun? Like, are you just relaxing? I've relaxed a little because I take self-care, but I have not Netflix and chilled all freaking day. I have not just loafed around. I text my friends here and there, but I still haven't had a whole full-on conversation with somebody because I have all these things, that the deep inner work to realign myself with who I am. And I so invite you to take this time as a blessing to go in, to dive deep, to figure out, who am I really? Who did I used to be? Because, and I've said this before, I'll continue to say it probably the rest of my life. Who you are, who you have become right now is not necessarily who you are. It's simply who you've become so far. Go back. Take this time. Gift yourself. And I'll be honest, especially if you're tuning into my Rise and Shine program in the early morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on here, Quarantine Network. It's about to get pretty ugly. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you're going to do the inner work and you're going to reassess who you are, it's not always the prettiest. I ugly cried for almost every single day for a solid year. When I started to just I found my personality anchor. I finally excavated it. It was just a rebirth. It was amazing. But then I was so vulnerable because I got rid of a huge piece of who I was. And naturally trying to fill the void. But now I don't have all these guards. I don't have all these judgments. So then I just went through and I'm seeing pain everywhere I look. See a homeless person on the street and I'd bawl my eyes out for 5 to 10 minutes. I became more empathic. I became able to feel and understand the hurt and the pain in the world. And that's partially how we become, as we grow into adulthood and we learn to protect ourselves, that's part of what we do growing up, because we say, oh, this is painful. Okay, don't do that. And we build these emotional and mental walls from constructs that we don't have the ability to understand yet. It's still black and white for us. And so we see pleasure and pain. That's painful. Okay, well. And that forms who we become. When you start taking down those walls, when you start removing those personality anchors, you can find out who you really were. And that's when it starts to get ugly, because that's when you're starting to experience life with childlike wonder, who you are at your essence, but now as an adult, being in the thick of everything that's going on. So that is your PSA warning as you continue to do these exercises and to join me and show up. And you're not just showing up for me, you're showing up for yourself. You're showing up for your family, your significant other. You're showing up for your children. You are showing up for the world. And I just watched a talk this morning by one of my mentors, Marie Forleo, and she straight up, and my other mentor, Gina DeVise, says the same thing. The best thing that you can do for the rest of the world, the number one thing before you do anything else, is to show up for yourself, strengthen yourself, strengthen your immune system so that you don't become a burden on the healthcare system. They've got enough to deal with. So eat the right foods, take care of your body, do your exercise, do what you have to do to maintain your health. Because as my grandfather always said, if you ain't got your health, you ain't got nothing. And it's so true. Because if you can't take care of yourself, like the oxygen mask in the airplane, put it on yourself too, because if you can't breathe, you're probably going to fail and lose oxygen as you're trying to put the oxygen mask on somebody else. You have to take care of yourself. I keep saying you got to fill up your cup. And this is just another way to ground down, fill up your cup. Because if you can take care of yourself and you can isolate yourself, so while the rest of the world fans out, Marie Forleo said it this morning, it's not about politics, it's not about religion, it's not about anything other than math. We are at the end of this curve. The rest of the world has seen it. Now we're here. As long as we do our part to take it seriously, energize ourselves, reinvigorate ourselves. Hi, Evan. Thanks for the love. And set ourselves as a priority, then we can show up so much better for other people. We can show up better for our kids. And we're modeling this for them. We're speaking so much louder by our actions than by our words. Yes, sew all the masks. Donate. Keep the economy going. Donate to programs you like on here. Donate to food banks. Like, yes, keep the economy going. Absolutely. But take care of yourself before. Martyr syndrome never helped anybody. Well, it never helped the martyrs. That's for damn sure. You don't need to be a martyr. So when you return and discover who little Cassandra is, who little Evan is, who little Matter is, when you rediscover that, not only can you relate, if you have children, you can relate much easier to your kids, but you can start having a much stronger bonded relationship with them. And you can start to go through life more in alignment. So as I was saying, take this time to do the inner work and dive deep, especially if you are not content with where your life is right now, because this is your opportunity that you have been gifted to realign, reassess, and come out of this stronger and healthier, both mentally, physically, even economically. And if you're, once you gain clarity on who you are, what your little inner child loves, then you can say, you know what, you're not actually treating me the way I deserve, and things need to change. And if they don't, here's my exit strategy. Or maybe, you know what, I don't like my job at all. And I complain about it all the time. And yet here I am sitting on my butt, doing nothing, enjoying everything. And when this is all over, I'm just going to go right back to the same job I can't stand. Why? No, take this time to study up on things. Online college, online degree programs, and not even just college, but there's so many different things going on right now, online resources that you can go and learn. I know a lot of people are like, I saw one of my friends is taking ukulele lessons with his wife. Okay, but if you're looking for a career change or something like that, now is the time. So invest in yourself. Take the time, remember who that innocent child was, and keep that mind in your head as you go throughout the rest of the day. The word innocence. No matter how much you've sinned, no matter how much wrong or hurt you've caused or done in your life, and vice versa, no matter how much has been done to you, everything happens for you, not to you. And it's up to you. It's your responsibility as a human to choose love over fear, to choose love and vitality over pain and suffering. And I really hope this message hits home. If you enjoyed it, please share this with your friends. You'll see in the comments that if you do share it, there's an incentive in there for you. And if you'd like to know more, if you want to do a deeper dive, I'm here for you. I'm holding space twice a day, 5 days a week. And I'm more than happy to make time outside of this space for you specifically. Reach out to me, wildblossombeacon.com. You can find me here on Facebook, Wild Blossom Beacon Coaching for Cassandra Renee. Or you can send me a DM or an email, wildblossombeacon@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I hope this was useful. Stay innocent. And as always, cough into your elbow, wash your hands, and stay home. I love y'all.